Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what next, Alberta? Mm-hmm. Where do we go from here? How do we've sensitized the people? Uh-huh. We've told them gender-based violence is not good. So what next?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that sensitizing people, we are not done yet.
Yeah.
We still have to do it. And so I'll go to the sensitization, then what next? So more than ever, right now, because then we start the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence on 25th for 10 days. So glad that and congratulations that you already have this conversation now. So yes, it's here in these spaces. Where I'm saying it's not done, we are going to the festive season. Lots of violence happens around this time. So even in our family settings, when you see this is a relative, we know it's a black eye, we know definitely they didn't fall down the stairs. Before even we have our family festives and meetings, can we call them out? Can we find out? Are we, so just asking, are you okay? Can we really find out if everyone is okay? Back to our homes, how we socialize, having conversations with our children. And it's not just about gender-based violence, about also how they are growing up, what's going on. So having that connectedness and respect. Then what next is to have functional responsive mechanisms. So for example, if you're violated, what do we do? So let the public know. Let us also be there to support. Let's have institutions that have addressed the unconscious bias. And they have systems that are able to support. So again, normally it's a heavy burden on the survivor to actually get services, for example. At GVC, yes, it's free to the survivor, but it's a cost to the institutions. If it's at the police, is it gender desks? Is it child protection units? Are they friendly? Do they know what to do? Can we also fast track and not have it like the burden of proof is on the survivor? It doesn't have to be up to me to confirm that I was violated or what I need to do. That support system and structure has to be there. Then we go to the laws that we talked about. So they are there. So how can we make sure that the legal process is shorter? How can we make sure then that people are held to account, for the wrongdoing that they're doing? How can we also make sure that we understand, for example, right from experiences and even data management, a central depository system, so that we are able to understand if this survivor went to service point A, why didn't they go to point B? Earlier we were talking about medical treatment and how survivors would go for medical treatment but not for legal aid, for example. What are those barriers that we need to address, in between there? Touching a bit on sensitization that you mentioned earlier and awareness, how friendly is it? Are we, for example, the people with disabilities, are we having, channels or methods that they're able to understand? If it's children in school, is it broken down to their understanding, for example, and things like that? So if you ask me where next, exactly that, calling it out, being aware, and for me that's a very big step, that yes, violence is happening. We have to first accept violence equal, and this is what we need to do. Just call it out and stop it.
So if you're saying calling it out at stopping, how did you start? And this one I want to bring Essie to introduce herself, because you are a very big, you campaign and you're doing a lot of work on women and men who are abused. How was your journey like, first of all, Alberta, before I come to Essie?
Okay. So how's my journey?
Yes.
Interesting. So I finished campus.
Ukajipata tu unapataka ku.
Nilikuwa home tu. Alafu I wish I was a stay at home mom. Alafu I took care of my daughter then for some time, actually, for almost 2 years. And then I thought, let me do something, and what even made me get into this space, I was actually carjacked. I
was trying to get the connection.
Kuna kwanga na connection.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't.
We were
carjacked.
We were carjacked. I was not raped, but we were carjacked somewhere along Daytona. Kwa nenda run hapo hivyo. Kwa naishi Maradeima then. Some very many years back. Almost decades actually. And then, so it was very horrific experience. At some point, we used the car, our car that was carjacked, to carjack another car. There was a pregnant woman and all that was really bad. So that's the point when I was told, and I felt I needed to go for counseling. I didn't. I think the flip side of it is then I thought, why can't I go and support women who've been abused? Because for me it was near attempt. And landed at GVC then, Nairobi Women's Hospital, volunteered for a week. Then after a week got employed as a psychologist, done like 6-7 positions, and that's it. So I got hooked or tied there because again, you tend to want to leave. Hardly is it about the money, it's about the calling for this kind of work, but there's a lot of, would I say, job satisfaction. Yep. So yes, there's a lot. So for example, around the 16 days of activism, we also have what you call Survivors Day. So all the survivors will come together, those who've been supported this year, and they're going to be celebrating their journey. So you're looking at them at the point where someone came in when they wanted to commit suicide, given up on life and all that, and then they're here now celebrating. So that's how I've gotten hooked up.
That's a very... I was jacked once. Remember, Solo?
Yes, I do remember. Back in the day.
Yeah. I don't like that experience.
Yes, it's traumatizing.
I was thrown in a river.
Pole.
In Kabete. I don't know. In Spring Valley. I'll never forget that accident. I should come to GBRV.
Kuja. Counseling is there. It's free. For men. For men and women.
Yes. I should come there.
And it helps.
Those guys. They really messed us up. Anyway, but it's sad to know that you are jacked up. But I was looking for that connection.
Very few people know it.
Yeah. So now I know. Essie, tell us your journey and say hi to people out there to know who you are.
Hello, everyone. Essie Daniel here. An executive coach, global speaker, and leadership trainer with Maxwell Leadership, and also the founder of Leaders Connect Limited. We're based in Westlands, Nairobi, and we help leaders grow in the area of character, confidence, and communication. And my story, as you'll hear it shortly, is what inspired me to begin this leadership journey.
Please tell us.
Beautiful. So
please tell us, at least give us the journey and say it. That experience is a life-changing experience, and the career is interconnected.
Correct. So my journey is also one that involved an accident, and I was involved in a grisly road accident. It was around 1 a.m. And as I was driving, a car came and T-boned me T-boned the car on the side, and I lost my smile. I got injured on the face. I broke my jaw. I got shattered glass in my eyes, and it was quite a scene. And
where was this?
This was in North Carolina.
Okay.
And it was on a road called Capitol Boulevard. So the car got out of their lane and came to mine. They were driving the opposite direction and came right at me. And as I was sitting there in pain, my phone is just completely destroyed. A stranger came and helped me, and they called 911. And I gave them also a number to reach my family, and they called them and they said, "Hey, your family member is in a wreck." And so as I was laying down in that ambulance and they were taking me to the hospital, I thought to myself, this is how people actually exit into the next life. And I made a covenant with God, and I said, God, if you give me another chance, I will serve you with whatever is left. I didn't know what was left. All I knew was that my face felt all wet. I was freezing. my pain, my mouth was in pain, everything was in pain. And so I made a covenant with the Lord, and I can see all these people, all these medics trying to help me stabilize as they get me to the hospital. I didn't know how bad it was. I just knew that maybe it was time, but I asked God to give me a chance. So on our way, we arrived, and they started the morphine medication, which is known to be the powerful pain reliever medication. And as they did that, as people now started to come in, my family, my church members, they came to see me. The moment they walked in, I could see their faces change. You know, up to this moment, I've not seen what I look like, but I'm looking at their faces, their reactions. Now that I'm not in so much pain because of the medication, I knew something was bad, terribly bad. So I asked for one of them if I could look at their phone, and I looked at myself. I was also shocked to see what I looked like. And I say, whoa, this is bad. And to cut the long story short, I was able now to, after a whole day of medical procedures, the jaw is broken. You could actually have taken it out of the mouth and put it down. Have missing teeth. They are looking for them in the lungs. I got 6 stitches on the lip and 8 stitches on the eye. And it was such a sin. But later on, I went home. I was on liquid diet for a week. A month. And it was, my mouth was frozen for a whole month. And I couldn't eat, I couldn't communicate. I lost my confidence, I lost my teeth. It was such a painful season of my life. But the interesting thing is, I finally got well. Though I lost my smile, I lost my confidence, and I couldn't communicate freely. There were also people that were making fun of me, sadly, because of how I looked. But the interesting part was when one day I went back to normal life. And one day I'm taking my kids to school, and the little one, 2 boys to school, and the little one is sitting in the back. And I got a nudge in my spirit, go to Walmart and buy bacon. We don't buy bacon from Walmart. There are better stores where you can buy food, because their specialty is really not food. So I'm arguing with them. I'm having an inside conversation, almost an argument. Why Walmart? Why not Aldi, where we buy food? And the interesting thing was, I decided to obey. And I'm on the phone. All this conversation is happening in my heart, and I'm on a call with Daniel. The Daniel in S. Daniel, my name. So
the significant other.
Yes, correct. So I got to Walmart, but as I was pulling in, it's always packed. There's never parking. And there's this one prayer that I always like to pray. God, order my footsteps. Provide me a spot of your choice. It sounds small, but it is so powerful, especially in this story, because this is where now my story changes completely. And I keep on driving, and I come across parking spot number 2, row 8 at the Newburn Avenue Walmart. Hey, how convenient. I'll just take a few steps, and here is the entrance. I have a little baby, so sure, I don't need to look for any more parking spots. So I park in, and I finish with my conversation. By this time, my little girl has shifted from the back seat to the passenger seat. Oh, the car was not running, so I can't get in trouble. Children are not supposed to sit on the passenger seat when the car is running. So I lift her, and I put her down because I was in an SUV. As soon as I put her down, I see a diamond ring that looks like a keychain. And I pick it, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, when did she roll the window and drop the keychain down? So I take it and I say, oh, children. So I take the keychain, and as we take another step, here is a beautiful diamond ring that is really beautiful, shining. And it was a dull morning. It had actually rained a bit. So I pick up the 2 rings. I go straight to customer service, and I ask, has anybody lost their rings? Has anybody come claiming their rings? And they said, no, nobody has. And I left my number, and I said, if anybody calls, just comes asking for the rings, just have them call this number. The next few days, I called every number. I answered every call that came through, including spam calls. 1-800 numbers. I answered every call. And nobody called. I was an immigrant. And so now I'm scared. What am I going to do? Do I go to the police? Will that trigger other issues? Will I be sent back home? And I'm not done with my process. And you know what's interesting? I decided, by the way, when all this happened, I posted on Facebook and Rally Moms group. It's a big Facebook group with a lot of viewers, and nobody claimed the ring. So one of the comments was, call ABC 11 News. It's a news channel. And I called them, and they said, oh, that's amazing. Would you send us a picture? And can we come tomorrow and interview you outside Walmart? In my head, I'm thinking, I don't have a smile. I don't look attractive. There are people that actually make fun of how I look. And the interesting thing was, I called my mom. I said, they want me to go to Walmart. I don't want to go. They want to take a picture of me, a video of me narrating the story where I got the rings. I don't want to do it. It's too painful. They'll make fun of me. I'll be on national TV. And mom said, joki. Wacha mambo mingi. Enda uambie mali ulipata pete. And it was consoling. So I went. They came, they interviewed me. They were very patient with me. And before I knew it, 4 hours later, the rings had found their rightful owner. And there I was, and I was thinking, finally, I don't have to be on TV again. Mission accomplished. So they called me and they said, I want us to meet at the same place we met yesterday, outside the Walmart, and I want us to reunite the rings to the rightful owner. There we are again on camera. Do I have a smile? No. Am I ashamed? Of course. Can I speak comfortably? It's very hard. And you know what? I went and I met this lady. And the interesting thing that I wanted to know was, how did she lose her rings? And she said she was there at around, before school hours, around 7 a.m. And her rings just slid off. 2 of her rings just slid off her finger, and they fell on the ground, leaving just one. She came back, she looked for them, she couldn't find them. And she went home frustrated. And God kept that spot. Maybe there were other cars that parked there between 7 and 10 a.m. all those hours. It's a parking spot close to the entrance. But God covered their eyes. And He reserved that particular moment for me to be the one to find the rings. So she narrated the story, and we were happy to connect. We connected on Facebook. End of story. The third part is now when we go home and Walmart calls me again. They say, hey, we want you to come over, meet us tomorrow, a certain time, and we just want to appreciate you for being a loyal customer. Again, we are on camera again. It's really, really becoming hard for me, because I don't want to keep on appearing on camera without a smile. I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel attractive. And I did it. I went, met with them. They gave me a gift card. I went and bought a pergola, a small shed that I put in the backyard of my house. And I called that place the place of reflecting, the place of reflection, a place of prayer, a quiet place. And there I thought we were done with the story. No more TV, we're done. Fast forward, a week and a half later, I get another call from ABC 11 News. And this time round, they say, we want you to meet us tomorrow at this time, at this address. I had no idea what the place was. As soon as we got there with Daniel and Stesh, my goodness, we read the sign. It said, Absolute Dental Services. They build prosthetics, fix teeth, and all that. And I was like, wow. I just started crying. I said, oh my God. And it became such an emotional moment for me. So we walked in, ABC 11 News was there waiting. And as soon as I sat down, Conrad and Dres were the names of the 2 doctors. And they said to me, we saw your story on the news. And there's one thing that you said that resonated with us. Their mission statement is serving their clients with unquestionable, without with unquestionable integrity. And when I was sharing the story where I had found the rings, I said, my mom taught me that integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching, because God is always watching. And so that really resonated with them, because it's similar to their mission statement. And you know what happened? Right there, they said they saw a beautiful lady that cannot express herself because she's missing a smile. And they decided that they were going to bless me with a smile for the good act of kindness. They said I didn't have to pay anything, and all I needed to do was pick up my phone, accept the appointments that I'll be given, and just show up, and before I knew it, I would have a smile. But let me take you back to where it all began. That morning, it was a beautiful morning, and I asked Daniel, do you think God can give me a smile in 6 months? Because I was going to meet with Dr. John C. Maxwell, who's my mentor in Florida. And I was looking forward to having a smile. It was like a wild, big audacious dream. And he said, nothing is impossible with God. And he went about his business. But do you know what's interesting? A few weeks later is when I found the rings. You see how this whole thing comes together? The power of the spoken word.
Interesting. Wow. I think that story is very, very deep and inspiring to...
Almost very un-Kenyan, because, if a Kenyan got that ring, a diamond ring...
Zulu.
The first
thing. Zulu, where are you going? Are you saying we are dishonest?
I mean, culturally, a lot of people would actually do that when they found something worth that...
they'll go and sell.
They will go and sell it and start fixing their own smile.
With cash?
Yes, with cash now, because they have the money. But what a very inspiring story of integrity.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And the thought crossed my mind.
Oh, yes, did it? Because you must have thought, how much will I fetch with this?
And you know what? When I went to take a picture, because I went to a jewelry store, they valued it at $6,000.
6,000. How long ago was that?
That was in 2018.
2018, $6,000.
Multiply by wadate.
Alafu ushike matatu na uweke Uber. You'll be smiling every day.
And right around that time, my heating system was broken. They needed $3,000.
Wow.
It's a miracle. But the words of my mom,
mothers
is doing the right thing.
Mothers
do the right thing.
If we followed our mothers,
yes,
only like you,
that's true,
tungekuwa engineers. Harmoniously. But anyway, Essie, I think it's very inspiring to have that story. So how did you get into John Maxwell mentorship, and how did you connect? And
so I had always desired to empower people. And I used to always feel like the leadership that we see is different from what true leadership is. And leadership really is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what Dr. John C. Maxwell says. It's influence. And a leader goes the extra mile. The leader serves the people. The leader tries to find out what is it that people need so that we can serve them at their level of need. Not sitting on a pedestal and waiting to be served. And so I wanted to change that narrative. And I had just connected with Maxwell Leadership when the accident happened. I just was wondering at that time, I just connected with Maxwell Leadership. I want to become an excellent speaker. I want to change the world, not just mine, the world around me, and introduce the right leadership that focuses on the people, leadership that focuses on valuing people, not for personal gain. And so that's when the accident happened, and we made a covenant with the Lord that if you save me, I will serve you with whatever is left. And so for me, when I serve, when I lead, when I speak, when I coach, when I help people identify their personalities and help them solve their conflicts, for me, that is my way of fulfilling my agreement with the Lord, that I will serve you with whatever is left.
Interesting. Akinyi there is telling me, please tell your guest to adjust the mic. Akinyi, I've told her to adjust the mic.
Thank you.
Akinyi, asante sana. We see you. Please tell your guest she has adjusted. Please speak to the mic.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Akinyi.
So, John C. Maxwell is coming, and are you involved in bringing him to Kenya, or how is the connection?
So, Dr. John C. Maxwell is actually in Nairobi right now as we speak.
Yes.
We have a big conference that has been organized by my two good friends, Marcia Chola and Catherine Igade. And so we will be at Sarit Expo tomorrow, Sarit Center, and we will have a full day of growing and learning, and you can't wait to see the transformation that will happen as a result of this conference called the High Road Leadership, that is named after Dr. John C. Maxwell's second latest book, The High Road Leadership.
High Road Leadership.
Yes.
What is the difference between leadership and coaching?
That's a good question. So leadership is how you lead yourself, how you conduct yourself, not just when you're in public, but also behind the scenes, behind the closet. And I always say that when you lead yourself well, then you can go and lead the world. If it's working at home, then you can export it. And coaching is when you work with a certified expert in the area of coaching, and you share what you're working on, and they walk that journey with you through accountability. But guess who comes up with the answers? Not the coach. You share what your desires are, and they walk that journey with you, holding you accountable. In this case, we use the Maxwell method of coaching and leadership. So leadership begins with us. The first win is when you make that bed. That's your first win. When you follow whatever your first 3 goals are for the day, and you focus on taking care of those before you get on TikTok and you go on shopping. If you're a fan of window shopping like me, or if you're a TikToker, before your day runs away from you, you take care of your 3 big goals. And that is what leadership is, because if you can lead yourself well there, then it's going to be easy for you to lead others. You cannot take people where you yourself has not been.
Okay, so since this is a forum of leaders, Alberta is a leader, executive director, you are a leader, coach. How do you inspire the world? How do you inspire the people?
How do I inspire the world? I inspire the world by, first of all, developing myself. It all began with me. It begins with me as an individual. What is that? What does that entail? Personal growth, whereby every day I wake up, I read, I reflect, I write, just as my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell, has taught me. And then I podcast, I use YouTube, and also a book that will soon be out, I write. And that is my way of working on myself also, as I use that content to reach other people. And I do so through coaching as well, leadership trainings, and helping people identify their personalities using the Maxwell Leadership of DISC personality assessments.
Interesting. So what's my personality like?
I would love to actually sit down and go through with you that, but looking at your t-shirt, it's bright. And so I can tell you love people. You love to be around people. Also looking at your career, I can tell that you're people-oriented.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
At least Alberta now knows.
We are many in this story.
And so what should be like the routine in a typical day? Like you said, the first step is like when you wake up and you spread that bed. What should the routine be for a typical day? When you aspire to be a leader, and this is how you're shaping your mind, this is how you're shaping your day.
That's a great question, Solomon. So what a typical day looks like for me, I would like to use a quote that I used earlier this week as we did our talk, and that is, success leaves clues. What does that entail? That means that a leader is also a reader. A great leader is also a great reader. What does that mean? Some of us have that Muranga accent.
Araero problem.
So allow me to say that one more time, and I hope I don't butcher it this time.
Yes, Araero problems.
A great reader. Oh, there.
Yeah, no.
Right the first time.
So a great leader is a reader.
Yeah.
That means that every day allocate at least 30 to 60 minutes of reading. And don't just read anything. Identify in what area you want to be an expert. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be an expert in? Don't read about real estate and tomorrow you're reading about sport and the next day you're reading how to be a doctor and you want to be an entrepreneur. Pick one area and zero in on that. Pick a book that is written by an expert in that area. Read that book for 30 to 60 minutes every day. You can choose to read it in the morning or you can choose to do that in the evening before you sleep. And then after that, practice. Pick at least one thing that you can practice and one thing that you can teach. Because as you teach someone else what you're learning, guess what? You're reinforcing that point. You're keeping it at the top of your mind because it's hard for you to teach what you're not practicing. What else do you do? Of course, you want to stay fit, eat the right food, exercise, and read.
Don't drink.
I see where you're going.
I'm talking to Solo.
I thought so.
And you know what I learned from my mentors is whatever you find to do or whatever you do, just do it in moderation. And I'll just leave that one at that. So at the end of the day, sit down and reflect what you did and what you did well, what you could do different. At the end of the week, look at your week. What were your goals for that week? How well did you achieve them? Do you need to delete some things because maybe they're not meant for you? Someone else can do them better than you. And so that's what a typical day would look like. You start in the morning by reflecting on yourself. And then you go out to the world and you do what you need to do. Then come back and review what the day was like and avoid the mistakes that you made today. And then plan your day for tomorrow.
And we're in an era where social media has really taken up a lot of our time.
Correct.
And you think like as you encourage more people to read so that they can lead, a lot of people are saying that when they decide to even read a book before they sleep, it causes them to fall asleep. How do you create that balance between waking up and going and rushing to your phone to check out what's happening on social media so that you can post what's happening and dedicating that time to saying, let me grab a book. I want to face this day like this. This is what I want to read. This is what is going to inspire me. Our reading culture has really been corrupted by the entrance of social media. How do we try to encourage people to actually focus on plan your day like this and start by reading so that you can lead? I pulled that through, right?
That's good. Very well.
It's from Nyeri, so. But Kenyans, just before you answer, Solo, remember that apart from social media, that Kenyans in 1982, when we had the attempted coup, the only shop which was not robbed is a bookshop.
The bookshop.
They robbed everything in the city, but Kenyans never touched
The bookshop.
There's nothing which was taken from the bookshop.
True story.
Yeah.
True story.
Wow.
1982, August 1st.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great question, and thank you for mentioning that. I think I've also heard of a similar quote where they say if you want to hide something,
Hide it in the book.
hide it in the book.
That's where it comes
And
from.
we need to
because
change that narrative. We need to change that narrative. And you know what? When I look at where we are today, a lot has changed. We have YouTube, we have podcasts, we have Pinterest, and we have audiobooks. We also have, there are so many ways to read. And so I would say, find the best way that works for you. Because not everybody loves to read. But whatever you do, make sure you're learning something new every day. You may be an auditory learner. You learn by listening. So maybe listen to podcasts. You may be a visual learner. You may be a kinesthetic learner. You learn by seeing, maybe you learn by listening, or you learn by doing. Find the best way that you learn. But make sure every day you're learning something new.
Interesting. I think, Essie, you've captured it very well. Let me get back to Alberta now. Alberta, I told you. See, my personality, umeambiwa? Did you learn something?
It's looking bright.
Nikasikia pale unaenda na solo na I think you have taken points on reading and everything.
Solo should stop drinking, in short. That's what the coach is saying. She said many things, but
yes.
The one take home
Take
for
away.
me.
Yeah. I'll be writing down at least 13 points every day, every morning.
So you read
yes.
and less indulgence.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
In moderation.
Do it in moderation.
Kulikuwa na point ya moderation.
Moderation hiyo ingine ya chakula. Food is more in moderation. Do not overfeed.
Okay.
But the other one is a no-no.
Yeah.
So Alberta, we are talking
Yes.
also. I was looking at. Go back to the numbers, and I think that the president, and we started 16 days of activism, which starts on 25th. What are you planning for those days?
So for those days, thank you. So one GVSC, that's also myself. We co-chair the National Anti-Gender-Based Violence Sector Working Group under State Department of Gender and Affirmative Action, so state and non-state actors. So what we plan on 25th, which is the start of
16 days.
16 days, is we're going to have a national launch. And the CS is very keen on going to, lack of a better word, mashinani, and having the conversations, kwa ground. So we have a national launch at Suswa. We have the Deputy President as the guest of honor. So the idea is just to come together as women rights organizations, civil society, government, and share on what's happening around gender-based violence. Around the same time, we have the Ma elders coming also to declare their support in elimination of female genital mutilation and child marriages. So that, again, also speaks to, remember, the harmful practices we're talking about. Who are the gatekeepers, the patriarchy, the community leaders, and so forth. So it's also engaging them. And of course, by the time they're coming to declare, means again, back to what you're talking about, sensitization has been done. The community is ready to say, we do not want violence. So it's going to each of these spaces. When we're talking about different forms of violence happening differently in different spaces and their prevalence. So that's what's happening. Around the same days, there are going to be different activations. Now, asking myself, for example, what we're doing. We're about to turn 25 years in March next year. And we have now want to share our experiences over these 25 years. What have we done around gender-based violence? What are the gaps? What do we need to do? So we're doing a documentary around that. We plan to have like a watch party and be able to share that out. We also have the Survivors Day I was talking about. So we have 8 centers in 5 counties. So in the 5 counties, and together with the 16 shelters I was talking about and the 14 gender-based violence recovery centers, is then having this celebration of gender-based violence survivors coming and sharing the experiences, celebrating the journey that they've gone through healing, and them also now becoming the ambassadors in the communities. We also have a lot of community activation. So for example, just on Monday, we have the Academia, University of Nairobi, coming over to the center just to see what exactly is happening. So we have a lot of, we have South Sudanese GBV practitioners, for example, coming to learn from us. So there's a lot of hosting and sharing about what gender-based violence is. Within these days also, there's a day we celebrate elimination of violence against women. There are different days that are marked within those 16 days. The Human Rights Day, the HIV, the World AIDS Day.
Was it December 1st?
December 1st, yes. And for December 1st, for example, we have what we call the triple threat, where you have the teenage pregnancy, the HIV infections, and gender-based violence. So we're talking about, there are a lot of intersectionalities, so to speak, with gender-based violence. So within all this period, it's about speaking out, and specifically this year, where the theme is around digital violence.
Okay.
Yes, what we're talking about, technologically facilitated gender-based violence. So there are a number of activities in different areas of the country, including opening a 14th center in Baringo Hospital, Kabarnet.
Oh, interesting. Yes. Interesting. I think that's a very big campaign coming up, and we wish you the very best in the 16 days. And Solo, if it happens in a neighborhood, report. That's what Alberta is saying.
That's very true. And I think probably the question that most people will want to know is how do you take up the cases, verify the allegations, because you see, for example, there are some perpetrators who are known to actually take the victim into health facilities and say, change the whole story and mask it and say something like, she was attacked or he was attacked by someone. How do you...
Alianguka kwa bafu.
Ameanguka kwa bafu, akagongwa na mlango ya kabati. How do you collect all this information and verify so that you know that the allegations that are already brought forward are either true or some have already been masked? So someone is being brought to hospital by a perpetrator. How do you handle that?
So that happens a lot. So one, there are different ways that you can get to the hospital. So we have a toll-free number. So there are those ones who would call because then they're scared that the perpetrator, they're scared of reaching out because then the perpetrator is also within their vicinity and all that, and they're threatened. So you can either call the toll-free number. We also do rescues. Once at the hospital, we do a lot of in-house capacity building because there's very minimal pre-service training in terms of gender-based violence management. So we have a lot of trainings in-house, right from how do you screen, we call it screening. How do you screen for a case, for example? Alberta has come, says she fell down the steps. So how are you able to actually relate that this injury is or how I'm speaking and what I'm sharing and all that, and who has brought me? So there are lots of times where you will be told, yes, we've brought them, can you kindly step out a bit? And we're able to engage. There are skills around that. So we have also a lot of training ourselves, including unconscious bias, because we come from the same society, and even those perpetrators are not from Mars or Venus, so we have a lot of that. So we also have temporal shelter. So what I mean is that some point in that medical treatment or psychosocial support, we also have social assessments. We realize that it's not safe for you to go home because the alleged perpetrator has brought you. We have a very close relationship with the police, so sometimes we get the perpetrators arrested at the health facility. Sometimes you'll be told we need to give you temporary shelter, we need to do some tests or something just to separate you from the alleged perpetrator so that we make sure that you're safe. We never take you back to an unsafe environment. So that happens as we sort the perpetrator.
Does that apply even to kids? Because I know kids is a very big
issue. Children. Yes, especially for children who amount for about 40% of our cases. And remember, I said a very big percentage are known perpetrators to the survivors. Then under temporal shelter, we also have a component of, and continuously we have the social assessments, we have social workers. Then after that, we also work with 16 shelters, the ones we support directly as GVRC, but we also have a number of other shelters we work across the country. So we have what we call a functional referral mechanism. That we're able to know you need a police or we need a police, for example, to come and provide. So depending on the individual need of the survivor. And then, of course, then there's reintegration, if need be, if it's safe, then to reintegrate back to the community.
And since I'm seeing we are going to the top of the hour, maybe in 1 second, tell us, in how long can you get a kid in a shelter before you reintegrate?
Depends, again, on a case-to-case basis. There are kids who have then to grow because they have nowhere to go. There are kids who would stay for a shorter time, for example. So I'll give you an example. We have lots of neglected children, young babies who are dumped. You can't tell, for example. So we'd get them, treat them, and they'll go to a home. Some of them would trace and we can't find them.
All right, I think